CEE Brown in your face.
Have you heard of Everything at Once?
Do you know about Everything at Once?
It's internationally known.
Aliens listen to it.
It's the best ever.
If there's something you're looking for in the 814, or feeling a little bored and think there ain't no more, check out Everything at Once and allow it to be your source. It's that raw podcast that's always showing support, highlighting the scene. No need to take I-90 to Peep or 79 to see how it be. Interviewing your locals with mindsets that are global. Innovators and creators on every single upload. So much going on in the EPA.
Incredible content.
Everything at Once will keep you up to date.
Amazing guests.
What you doing? Come through and hang with Tony and Dave.
Community driven.
Bringing everything at once from around the way. Everything at once from around the way. Hey.
Please listen. We love you. Everything at Once.
Everything at Once.
It's time to introduce this show.
The best show on the face of the planet.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in today. We want to thank our Patreon producers, Brian G., Josh W., Ian D., Nick G., and Sadie M.
Patreon, it's an awesome way to support the show and say thanks. You can become a Patreon supporter by clicking the link below and choosing to be an intern, assistant, or producer level supporter.
If being on the production team is too much pressure for you, you can also send any contributions using our Venmo at Everything at Once Studios. We now want to thank all the local businesses who supported this episode. These businesses get the Everything at Once stamp of approval and are critical members of the Everything at Once community. We couldn't do it without them. We've all seen those cars covered in rust, rotting out the floorboards and shortening their lifespans. Don't let your car be a victim of the harsh, eerie winters this year by getting a fluid film undercoating at Tommy's Automotive.
Winter is coming. Book your appointment today. Fluid film undercoating with Tommy's Automotive starts at $100. God, that's so cheap.
It really is a great deal.
It's a slamming deal. So you're going to want to call Tommy to get your quote right now at 814-384-8088.
With winter approaching, are there any last-minute details that you want to change or renovate around your home?
I might, but you know who to call.
Yeah! Ghostbusters!
No, Tony. No, not Ghostbusters. Solid State Construction.
Oh, yeah. Solid State.
Yeah.
Duh. Solid State takes pride in all their home remodeling projects. Solid State specializes in bathroom remodeling, kitchen renovation, window and door installation, custom design work, and more, including painting, flooring, drywall, sidewalk, decks. Get your free quote today by calling Nick at 814-397-7854. Solid people, solid product, Solid State Construction.
You know, Tony, with all these renovations from Solid State, I think we might have kicked up some bad energy around here. Yeah, oh yeah. Luckily, we know just the people to go see.
I know it this time. It's Ghostbusters.
No, Tony. Our friends at Cauldron and Thorne.
Wow. I feel really dumb right now, and I can't believe I didn't think of Cauldron and Thorne. The world's largest witchcraft and metaphysical shop, with everything a person needs to channel the spirit world.
Practice some self-care.
Find enlightenment.
Curse your enemies.
Protect yourself from your enemies.
Bless your friends.
Cleanse your space from negative energies. You can check out all the magical wares available for these different practices we all love and enjoy at Cauldron and Thorne, 2724 West 8th Street, or online at cauldronandthorne.com.
This week, we have an incredible guest for you.
The infamous Matt Kelly joining us in the studio. We got a special treat for you today, dude.
That's right.
Huge special treat. We didn't decorate this time, but we got a Thanksgiving Am I the Asshole episode, and we have country doctor Matt Kelly out here to help us give fierce and critical judgment of people's Thanksgiving decisions.
It's actually, I believe, almost Dr.
Matt Kelly.
The title is irrelevant. I'm honored.
Well, dude, we're super excited. This is going to be a good time. You want to just get this started? I got some good ones.
I got some good ones as well. We did not.
We didn't check this time to make sure we don't have the same one, so it might be a short episode.
Oh,
It might be a short episode, but it might not be.
We'll never know.
Let's get into it just hot right off the bat.
All right.
I'll give you one right here. It's called, this one is, am I the asshole for leaving Thanksgiving dinner early after my brother's toast to me?
Oh,
You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Today was family Thanksgiving dinner. My brother Will is 32 male and I am a 27 male. I am a recovering addict and have been sober a year from opioids. I've done stints in jail and rehab. It was at my parents' place and a few aunts were invited, some cousins and grandparents. Everyone had a few drinks besides me, and right before we were about to go eat, Will stands up and clangs his glass to give a toast. He's a little tipsy and starts talking about what he is thankful for, being together, food, yada yada. Eventually, he goes on to say that he's so thankful that I'm still alive and sober at this Thanksgiving despite everything that's happened. The room kind of got quiet and there was a toast and we ate. I was beyond embarrassed. The last place I want that brought up is at a family gathering and Will knows this. Usually after we eat, everyone sticks around for another drink or something, but I bounced as soon as food was done. Will texted me asking where I went and I told him I was pissed and he embarrassed me. He told me I was being a dick and he just wanted to celebrate me. I haven't responded. Part of me thinks I overreacted, but the other part knows how I felt in the moment. Embarrassed. Am I the asshole?
So, I feel like that is, kind of standard, you know what I mean? Like, you should expect a certain level of assholishness after you've been a monstrous dick to your entire family for probably multiple years and making them go through all sorts of shit, stealing your grandma's jewelry and borrowing money from your brother and all this other stuff that I can only imagine went on, that, like, I feel like a little bit of snide comments maybe from your brother or brother-in-law, I don't remember what it said.
Brother.
Your brother is kind of par for the course. I don't have any brothers or sisters, though.
Yeah, you're kind of like just guessing.
I'm guessing at what it would be like.
I think that, like, you know, when I, or maybe if I, you know, in my past life, if I did things like crush up opioids and snort them, I don't know if that's what people do or not, but I would.
If you're a pussy, I think that's what you do.
But I mean, I feel like after crushing and snorting up one of those tasty little pills, you know, one of the fantasies would have been someone giving me a toast. You know, someone lauding me. So it's just like a full circle thing. I think, you know, cool. I'm getting toasted. I'm all about it.
Regardless of the circumstances and whether or not your brother's been, like, kind of put that snide thing in there, like, even after everything that's gone on, I feel like that's, like, kind of the sticking point of this situation.
I was kind of thinking that maybe the direction that story was going as you were reading it was I left the Thanksgiving party and went and relapsed and told my brother I did it because he's an asshole.
See, that's the real spiteful thing. That would be like the true. You would definitely be the asshole in that situation.
Who, the person who relapsed?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're just living your bliss a little bit.
I don't know. That story sounds like they're all assholes, kind of.
The whole family?
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know what this guy did, like everything that's happened. Like, he might have, you know.
I can only assume the worst, though, of people.
True.
Especially on Reddit, you know what I mean?
That's true.
What do you think he did the last Thanksgiving? Because this was his first one sober. Like, it seems like there was something pretty spicy.
Bad. It was probably bad. I bet you, like, face first, nodded out straight into the mashed potatoes, or, like...
Or he wasn't there.
Or he wasn't there. He was in jail.
Oh, yeah, he did say he had
doing, like, weird
FaceTime
FaceTime calls on the iPad from jail, talking to his family on Thanksgiving.
They have iPads in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
They're not, like, iPads, but they're like tablets.
It is
ThinkPads.
2023.
Yeah, dude, they got those in there.
So, do you think that there's the possibility? I think we can go back all the way to the root of the problem and say that Big Pharma are the assholes in this situation.
Well, we don't know that for sure.
How do we not know that? They put the opioids on the market.
They're the assholes in every situation.
Most situations can come back to the corporate overlords, I think, as an asshole. And those delicious vitamins that they used to distribute to tons of people definitely caused a lot of problems. but I don't know if we can attribute this story particularly to them. I feel like I need to find the asshole in this family. And I'm going to go with the dude who got toasted is still the asshole because...
You mean roasted?
It's his first Thanksgiving he's been, like, sober at for a long time. So, like, yeah, you have a disease, but also, like, you need to own up and take a little bit of responsibility for the shitty things that you've done over the past however many Thanksgivings there have been.
Imagine we're sitting down. Imagine that this is our Thanksgiving table.
Okay.
All right. All of your family members, all of our family members, all of your family members are here, all your loved ones. And you're like, boy, this is cool. I get to be present. I'm not ruining things. I'm enjoying myself. I'm not fucked up. I'm not in jail. Everyone's having a good time. Then old Matt stands up over here. Matt's your brother. Matt stands up over here and he's
sorry.
He's like, yum, this turkey. Let's all give thanks for this turkey and that we're all together. Oh, by the way, before I'm done, let me highlight all the reasons that you used to be just a total fucking jerk. And then we can be thankful for, like, you know, that's just like unnecessary shade to be throwing, whether you're actually thankful for it or not.
But he didn't go, like, into details. He wasn't like, oh, thank God fucking Tony isn't stealing grandma's jewelry again and hawking our heirlooms at the pawn shop and making us go buy them back.
Still think about it. Think like if you
I did think about it. That's how I feel. That's how I feel, dude.
Damn it, dude.
Also, I feel like I still kind of deserve that because I'm a very self-hating person and very self-loathing a lot of times. So I feel like I deserve to be shamed publicly in front of all my family for my misgivings because that's just that kind of goes into my being.
Well,
you know?
This isn't misgivings. It's Thanksgiving.
I'm gonna side with the dude who gave the toast as being the asshole, and that is purely out of the fact that I feel like a thing that I have in common with the dude who got toasted was that neither of us like to be the center of attention ever.
Okay.
So I can sympathize with him not enjoying that in that particular setting because I would not either. So that's where I'm at.
So the brother is the asshole.
The older brother is the dick.
Yeah. I feel like also in early recovery, I was super desperate for any sort of praise. You know what I mean? Like being brought up in the toast, that's kind of a good thing. Like, yeah, cheers to me for being here, even though after I've done all these other horrible things that you brought up a little bit. I'm here this time.
I know we want to keep it. I won't go big pharma. I know that's too far away. You know who I think the asshole is, and they might not have been present at the dinner, but I might go with this dude's sponsor.
Oh yeah.
He's
so we're assuming he's working 12 steps.
We're assuming he's working 12 steps.
It's a big assumption.
And
right.
He I guess so.
I'm going to go even further though.
Okay.
I'm going to say that it was grandma's fault for leaving her pills unattended and letting this poor human just ravage them throughout his life and causing his opiate addiction.
Do you think it was grandma though? I mean, he could have been like...
I don't know if it's grandma or not. I can only assume that it was grandma.
You can assume. All right, we're all assuming. I think...
Can do whatever you want.
All right, this is my story.
I think that it's whoever hosted the party. I don't know if it was the brother, if it was the parents, if it was whoever the host of the party is the asshole.
Okay.
Because you're just letting someone get up and give a haphazard toast during dinner. Who toasts during Thanksgiving? I've heard of praying if it was beforehand and he was like, thank you, Lord, for bringing us back our brother sober or whatever. I'd be like, oh, that's low. Who toasts at Thanksgiving? It's not a goddamn wedding.
That's right. This
correct.
guy's clearly seeking attention.
Exactly.
So the brother is the asshole. I'm going to stick with grandma because I already put that out there that she's the asshole.
Well, it's good to stick to your guns.
Right. Yeah, dude, I'm committed to it at this point. So no change in that. And you're also saying it was the brother.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
We have a rare, well, I guess
2-1 consensus.
2-1 majority.
I never get anybody to agree with me on these anyway, so we're right on the mark here celebrating Thanksgiving.
We're
Perfect.
rolling.
Perfect.
Gobble, gobble.
We should toast you.
Yeah? What do you have to say about...
Oh,
what do you have to
nothing.
say? Oh, wow. 0. Nice.
Tony likes.
I don't want to put you on the spot like that.
I think
wow.
Tony likes the attention more than you do.
The attention, whether it's positive or negative, just give it to me in one way, shape, or form. That's it.
I want to dedicate this toast to friends being at the Am I the Asshole Thanksgiving table. And I also want to give a special shout out to Tony. We appreciate that he shows up and does these episodes and hosts us every single time, even though his opinion is historically wrong. Cheers to you.
Wow. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that was exactly what I needed. Thank you for that. I guess I'm just going to go to the next one now so I can continue to prove you guys wrong.
Cool.
In your decisions and your judgment and most facets of your life, your poor choices. So I got this one here. Okay. Will I be the asshole? To start off, I have a cousin, female, 27, who has a mental condition where, let's say, she overreacts to everything. She has this running philosophy: if my dog can't go, then I don't go. Her dog got kennel cough at the daycare November 10th and has been symptomatic till about 2 days ago. I've heard dogs are contagious for about a week after no symptoms. I told her this, and she is still bringing her dog to Thanksgiving dinner. She asked to compromise, and we can take turns letting the dogs roam. I said, no, you need to keep your dog away from other dogs and not bring them out in public when they are sick. I am not happy with having my dog locked in a room so that a sick, tiny dog can enjoy Thanksgiving. Whenever she has come over in the past, they treat my dog, who is a larger Aussie, like crap, saying, oh, she's bigger, she can handle being alone for hours downstairs. Will I be the asshole if I tell my family that I will not go to Thanksgiving dinner if she brings her dog, as my dog is at risk of getting an infection?
No.
Okay.
But how about just nobody bring their fucking dog to Thanksgiving?
See, that's the real clincher there for me that makes this story interesting, is that they're both apparently going to mom and dad's or wherever for Thanksgiving. They both want to bring their dog, and the one is pissed at the other that they will not bring their dog. And the other one's like, I can't go if I can't bring my dog. So it's like a Mexican standoff of who can bring their dog to Thanksgiving, because they're both need to have their fucking dogs with them at Thanksgiving.
I mean, I guess it depends whether you're in the camp of dogs are people too, of that school of thought.
Yeah, that seems to be a pretty prevalent thing these days. And don't get me wrong when I state this highly unpopular opinion that I have, because I do love dogs. However, what I do not love is dogs in like any sort of place that I walk into.
Yeah.
Particularly like stores.
Okay.
Stores, okay.
You know, I don't really like walking around the mall when there's like dogs around. There's a small local retail establishment that I moonlight for, and we have a no dog policy there, and people get really offended when they just walk in with their dogs expecting that it's cool.
Right.
And we politely tell them, hey, you can't have your dog in here. And then it 9 times out of 10 turns into a whole thing. So back to the story.
Right.
The simple solution is just don't anybody bring your dogs to Thanksgiving. Leave them at home.
Right.
And then everybody can hang out and be happy.
I feel like I feel like Thanksgiving, I mean, if your family, if you're going to a house where they have dogs and the dogs like each other and they want to run around and play and do whatever, like, that's fine. But I would not be like, I have to bring my dog to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? I'm not coming to Thanksgiving if my dog can't come. If, like, my aunt or uncle or grandma or whoever's like, no, don't bring your dog. First off, I really wouldn't bring my dog to begin with. I wouldn't be like, I need to have my dog with me for this Thanksgiving. But these two sisters just seem really upset about not being able to bring their dog because they just rely on this dog so much for, I don't know, whatever it is they're getting for it.
Emotional
coping
support.
Skills. Yeah, as a coping skill.
The real question I have is has either one of the, because they did mention, I think, that they're having Thanksgiving at their parents' house.
Something like that.
So did anyone think to like maybe run this by mom and dad who own the house that we're going to.
It seems like that's already a thing, though. They already like always bring their dogs
Yeah,
or
maybe.
whatever.
Here's how I think of it, because I'm still in like the dogs are people camp. But like if you have like pneumonia, or if you have like a really bad flu, and you're super contagious, should you be going to the party? You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's Thanksgiving. I have what's that?
I have COVID.
The C word, COVID. I have
COVID?
I have COVID.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But either way, just something that like people have like, oh, I don't want to get that. I don't want to get sick. So if your dog's got kennel cough, so it should be treated in the same way.
Yeah,
you shouldn't
don't bring
be
him.
upset about it. If if the dog wasn't sick, then it would be a different story. But this dog has the kennel cough, which I don't know if that's like comparable to like feline AIDS, maybe. You don't want that dog around.
Right. Yeah. I feel like if I'm sick and I don't go to work, like that's kind of expected. If I'm sick and I don't go to, like, the same should apply to like anywhere else that I wouldn't go because I'm sick.
For sure.
And we live in a world now, maybe 4 years ago, maybe if this was Thanksgiving 2019, there was, we'll call it the old world, because it kind of is. It's the old world mentality of like, oh, you're just sick. Oh, you just have a cough. Like, this is a family thing. It's important. I feel in today's day and age, it's like, you better be healthy if you're going to be here.
People are a lot more protective, for sure.
Exactly. So, but beyond that, I mean, bring all the dogs you want as long as they're healthy, man. Like
As long as the owner is cool with it, you know what I mean?
regardless. No, I'm just kidding.
This is like a Thanksgiving celebration, and I happen to notice that neither of you brought your dogs with you today.
That is true.
Well, he was just feeling a little bit shy today.
Old Jethro.
Well, Jethro's been dead for a couple
okay.
years, so thanks for bringing that up.
Of course, yeah. That's what I'm here for. That's why I got that nice toast earlier.
Yeah, it was a good one. You're in the wrong with this one.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little bit extra for two sisters to be arguing about whose dog can come to fucking Thanksgiving. Like, that kind of altogether really just blows my mind on a level that I didn't really think was possible.
I think
like, if the dog,
I'm really guessing that on some level, both of them are just massive assholes.
yeah,
I think it's very par for the course. It's just for common white folk. It seems
to be assholes.
No, to be arguing about bringing their dogs to Thanksgiving. The two girls.
Yeah,
that sounds
it
like a
makes
good
sense.
white girl argument.
It does.
Right. And the one is tiny and barky and probably annoying as fuck, and the other one's an Australian, you know what I mean? Australian Shepherd, which is probably, I don't know if it's well behaved. I guess that kind of depends too. Like, is your dog a good boy? That kind of influences whether or not I want him coming to the house and which dog I prefer
Yeah.
to be there, sick or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather have the big dog there than like the little, toy breed dog just in like the sister's purse, like getting nibbles of turkey at the table,
dinner table?
Yeah.
Trying to get out.
Oh, Sparky licks the mashed potatoes and gravy off the plate when I'm done with it at home. He does
Right.
it here too,
He licks it off the serving spoon after I get mine, put it back in. That's what kind of dog relationship we have.
Exactly. So like I just think that both the sisters are assholes. Can there be two assholes? Are we allowed to do that?
We've had whole families. We've had groups of people. We've had corporations. I think anybody can qualify as the asshole in most of these situations that you're able to logically argue for, even though it may be wrong. Like, it usually is.
I'm going to switch it real quick. I'm going to say that whatever dog it was that had the kennel cough for not excusing itself from the party is the asshole here.
That's a good answer.
Straight to the dog.
Straight to the dog.
No owner involved. They're their own beings, you know?
I'm gonna go a different direction, and I'm gonna say the parents of these two girls are the real assholes for raising these two girls.
Nice. That's a classic move. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Matt on this one, I think. I think the parents are probably assholes for not being able to raise two daughters who can, like, live for a couple hours without their dog at Thanksgiving when they're surrounded by family, and generally, I would hope, a pretty chill environment. Like, as far like I get people get a lot of comfort and have like support animals and stuff like that, and that's great, and that helps a lot of people, and that's awesome. But like, if you're going to a family event and you need your support animal to be able to stand the company of people that are supposed to be like your family and your loved ones, I feel like you probably did not do a good job of bringing them up in a way to be able to deal with any sort of situation that ever may rise, no matter how mild it may be.
They're not very good at conflict resolution.
That's also true.
Is the sick dog going to get toasted at Thanksgiving dinner?
Yeah. Little Snuffles. Little Snuffles made it all the way to Thanksgiving this year. Even though we got a kennel cough, he still showed up.
We're so grateful.
We're so glad he's here.
He was such a jerk before.
So who gets to show up though at a Thanksgiving?
What do you mean?
If this daughter's not, if it's a Mexican standoff of dogs coming and not coming and going and daughter's not going, who?
Well, if the girl with the sick dog is smart, she'll just tell her sister that she's not bringing her dog, and then she'll just show up with her dog.
I think there's
and then they leave.
And then they just fight and make Thanksgiving interesting.
Right.
I think there's it's like a twofold argument where you're ranking who the more liked dog is and who the more liked sister is.
Right.
And if you get the votes in and they line up, then that person just brings their dog and fuck the other one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Or you just go
Very fair.
You go full stealth mode and just keep the small dog enclosed the whole time. But that doesn't sound like that's an option because they're already talking about how they're making the big dog sit by itself for long periods of time so the other dog can run around. I think the dogs are assholes actually. Because like if the dog for existing and for not being friends with each other, like they're fucking family. It's Thanksgiving. These two dogs can't get, because that's like the real problem is like, oh, we got to separate the dogs. We got to put them in their own area. One can come and run around with the family while the other one sits in a room or down in the basement, and then they switch.
Well,
so really, these dogs are the assholes for not being able to get along and chill.
Really, what's a little kennel cough between friends?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the one who's pretty much a doctor, so I guess you got a better view on that than we do.
Correct.
Yes. So I'm saying dogs are assholes. Dave, you going with who?
I'm going with the dogs as well.
Okay.
The dogs are assholes, and you're saying the parents.
The parents.
Wow. Me and Dave agreed on this one.
Yes.
Matt, Dr. Kelly, I'm sorry, but
That's okay.
You've been voted off the island this time.
Cool.
Just for
See you
this
guys
one.
later.
Well, you get a chance to redeem yourself. We're going to jump into another one. I got a few of these saved.
There were a lot of dog ones, dude. A lot of these were the same.
A lot of them were dog
I feel like
related.
you guys had a dog-related one on an older episode, too.
Dogs are problematic for people, I guess.
Well, they are.
Dogs are the only thing more problematic than dogs.
Because they're basically people.
Yeah.
The only thing more problematic than dogs on this show are nagging wives. Speaking.
Oh, yeah,
of
that's always a problem, too.
Speaking of, let's jump into this. Am I the asshole for sitting on my husband's lap during Thanksgiving dinner because all chairs at the table were taken? Oh, this is good. This is good.
Ooh.
I, female 28, have been with my husband, Sean, male 33, for 2 years, married for 5 months. Most of his family are decent people, but his mom can be a little bit of a passive aggressive and tends to criticize me a lot. Sean sees it as her still not getting used to me being around, but I don't know because she treats his ex, Julissa, good.
Julissa, wow, okay.
Mother-in-law says that Julissa has been around the family for ages, and her past with Sean never affected her relationship with her. Fine. I never minded her attending every holiday and being around till yesterday. We had Thanksgiving dinner at my mother-in-law's house. Sean went there before me, and when I arrived, it was already dinner time. Everyone was seated, and I saw that all the chairs were taken. I asked mother-in-law why she didn't save me a seat, and she said sorry, and that one of her granddaughters decided to show up last minute, and the chair was taken. I looked at her, then at Julissa, who was sitting next to Sean, her husband.
Ex-wife.
and tried to point out how I was more deserving of her chair since I'm the daughter-in-law. I know I shouldn't have said that. I know.
What is the ex doing at the fucking Thanksgiving?
This is all wrong.
It's all wrong, and it keeps going. Mother-in-law flat out said that Julissa is as much family as me, and that it was rude to imply otherwise. Julissa was nodding confidently while glancing at me. I was so upset I wanted to leave, but decided to just sit on my husband's lap and act as casual as possible. I sat on his lap, asking if he was okay with it. Don't worry, I'm petite, he's strong-built. And that was what I was worried about, by the way, with this whole thing.
Don't want to crush the husband.
Yeah. And started eating so casually while smiling and complimenting the food and mentioning to Sean how warm and comfortable his lap was now and then. The table went awkwardly silent. Brother-in-law would then try to break the silence and change the subject, but it somehow goes back to being awkward. Mother-in-law and Julissa were barely eating and were staring at each other, then at me, eyes wide open. Minutes later, Julissa excused herself to the bathroom, and so did mother-in-law. It was still awkward, but I did my best to focus on dinner. Sean was eating as well. Later, there was just so much tension, and mother-in-law was barely able to speak after Julissa left early, like right after dinner. Sean and I went home, and mother-in-law tried calling, but then called Sean and texted me saying what I did was inappropriate and that I ruined Thanksgiving dinner and made it awkward. She said it wasn't her fault. Chairs were taken, and I could have dragged a chair from the kitchen, but acted childishly and made Julissa and her family uncomfortable with how inappropriate it was.
And her family?
And her family. I need to mention that even if I took a chair from the kitchen, there was not enough space at dinner table to fit the chair. Everyone was sitting next to each other. Am I the asshole?
Okay, so I have so many concerns.
There's a lot to unpack
this is a big one here. First off, Julissa, the ex, is at Thanksgiving with her family. Like, I can only go, my mind only goes one place, dude. It's been indoctrinated. She's like a cousin or like something like that. You know what I mean? That's the only way it would make sense to bring your ex to the Thanksgiving, is because she's still technically family. So she comes and she's the cousin, and that's the logical explanation, I feel like. So this guy is like dating his cousin. Now she's still coming to Thanksgiving because she's part of the family. Otherwise, like, why the fuck is the ex like at Thanksgiving?
It certainly, I mean, I didn't draw that conclusion. I thought more of like another sinister angle, which was the mother-in-law likes this girl infinitely better, and she's trying to get them back together. Yeah, you know, that's why sit her next to the son and like let some sparks fly at dinner. But then his old wife comes and sits on his lap and ruins their plan, and they gotta go in the bathroom and cry together before Julissa leaves. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God, I'm just like picturing this entire scene, and I'm like basing it off of my grandparents' old house where we used to have a big, huge family Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm like picturing it happening at that table, and like it's all wrong.
This is not good.
This whole thing is all wrong.
The ex gets like prioritized too. Like, this is Julissa's seat. You can't have a seat next to your husband because his ex-wife or his ex whatever. It doesn't even say it's his ex-wife. Just his ex is there.
It was his ex-high school sweetheart.
Oh my God.
So I'm going to go ahead and just state this for the record right now, that the girl that wrote this, I do not believe is the asshole, but I am having a hard time deciding who is.
I don't think she's the asshole either. I feel like definitely I feel like she's an asshole, but to like a lesser degree. Like, definitely like sitting on your husband's lap in this whole situation was probably not the best solution, but
it was a baller move.
Yeah, I respect it. I respect it. Definitely. It's definitely, there's some assholes that I definitely respect in these situations, you know what I mean? Because they fucking got them and they won, or whatever, however it went. But I don't think that it's probably the most conflict resolving solution to sit on your husband's lap and say how nice and comfy and cozy it is on his lap. And
you know, Julissa could be considered the asshole just based on her name.
That's also a valid point.
It wasn't quotations. I think it was a made-up name. But boy, what a made-up name she came up with. Like, that is just a random ass. I've
That's
never
probably
heard
not
the
her
name
real name.
Julissa. Yeah.
It's like Julie or Alyssa.
It's probably one of the
like,
two.
make up your fucking mind.
Yeah.
What about the patriarch of this family? Where's dad at? You know, where's
Oh my
He's
God.
drunk
Where's-
and
Yeah.
full.
And tired of fucking
All of it.
the matriarch's bullshit and bringing Julissa to the Thanksgiving when his son has clearly moved on to other things. And yeah, he's wasted.
He's in the other.
He's got no fight left in him too. He's probably real fucking old, and
He's all turkey wasted and
He's in the other room watching the Lions game, and that's where the husband should be too. What is he doing? Just
Right.
chilling at the table with the women folk.
Yeah,
There's
he's
football
he's
on
got
in the
his
other room.
petite wife on his lap. He probably can't stand up.
Well, this is what I want to know. So did she not show up? Because she doesn't say it in the story. Does she not show up at the same time as the husband? Because she makes
No,
it
she
seem
didn't. She did say that in the story.
Oh,
she
that
said
she
she
did.
got there late.
So she got there late. She obviously knows, or her husband, I'm sure, knows how she feels about Julissa. I'm sure if they've been married a few years, she has not just like not mentioned how she feels about this ex being at every family
Thanksgiving,
event. So
like-
you show up and the ex sits next to you, and you think in your head like this is a good idea.
Doesn't
like
first off, Julissa is at their Thanksgiving, so that leads me to believe that she is an asshole because she's not at her. Doesn't she have
sure.
like a family of her own, or she's a cousin and that is her family? You know what I mean?
It's one of those. Like, why else is she fucking there?
Right. Like, why don't you have wouldn't you rather like be with your own family on Thanksgiving? I would think that would be like the place I would be on Thanksgiving is with my family.
On the flip side of that, why is the mom like, yeah, sure, you should be here, Julissa?
Why is she exactly?
she's not just like you should be here. She's like
You get the seat next to your ex
And-
or our son.
invisibly upset when his wife flirts with him, or like
Right.
they went to the bathroom together.
They did.
To go cry and
To
At
go
a
sort it out.
house. They weren't out at the club. They weren't at the bar. They were literally at a fucking house.
Yeah, they weren't doing key bumps or anything fun in the bathroom. They were in there like, damn it, our plan's foiled again next,
We'll have to try again next Thanksgiving.
We have to wait till Christmas.
At Christmas.
Also, a high school sweetheart, like they said they were like 20 in their like late 20s, early 30s,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So, and his high school sweetheart is still fucking showing up for Thanksgiving.
I feel like this girl, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like a trust thing, but I feel like the wife is slightly the asshole just a little bit, because you go into this relationship and it's like, oh yeah, I really like you. We're starting to get serious. Oh, by the way, my ex that I dated still comes to every family event, and
My mom fucking loves her.
my mom loves her, and you're gonna have to deal with that I'd be like, okay, hold on, what? Like,
That would have to just be like a really, really unique set of circumstances for that to like just fly with everyone
okay.
involved.
Right. It's definitely a strange dynamic that they have going on at this house.
Well, and then at the end of it, she said that he made it sound like that she ruined it. The husband, like the mom got a hold of him. And I get that a little bit. You got your ties to your parents and stuff, and you can be like swayed in that way. But like, how, I don't understand how
Yeah,
he's.
I feel like, and that's typically the situation in these Am I the Assholes, is we're only getting one side of this.
That's the way it goes.
Well, that's the best, most fun part of
For
it.
Now
sure.
we can only make these
For sure.
assumptions.
Which is fun to make these assumptions, but I just can't help myself but think there's at least one other whole side of this story that we have absolutely no visibility on.
Right, this wife might be a fucking bitch, and mom is like trying to protect her favorite son or whatever.
Yeah, she
trying to.
might be terrible.
She might be the worst.
What about, I don't know the correct term, you're the psychology guy, so if there is one, correct me if I'm wrong. What if it's like a reverse Oedipus complex type thing, and like Julissa is just not good looking, and the wife is like a smoke show, and like the mother-in-law, for whatever reason, feels like threatened by it, like she has that like connection with her son, and she has to be like the best, option in his life.
Right, his person that he turns to, his rock, his comfort, his whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe both these daughters suck in their own. Well, not daughters, but the one is her
Daughter-in-law.
daughter-in-law, and the other one is an ex. These women Maybe they both suck, and mom is just like, at least this one was better than the other one, slightly. So we're going to keep her around just in case things ever fall off. She'll be there to pick up my son's poor, broken heart.
What if mom and the ex, this is just a twisted rabbit hole, but hear me on this. What if mom and the ex are just down like they've just been having an affair for years, and
the
like
mom and the ex.
The mom and the ex, and that's why she likes her. Like they went to the bathroom to like
that did cross my mind.
And like the husband, like getting them back together would be a convenient excuse for for
them to see each other more often.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely one possibility for sure. I think that in this situation, I'm gonna go with the mom is the asshole here for sure for still inviting. I'm gonna go with like the whole family, not just mom. I'm not gonna place it on her because I feel like everybody has to approve of Julissa to come to the Thanksgiving thing or whatever. So all of them like enabling Julissa to keep coming to Thanksgiving when I would hope that like the incest cousin fucking thing is wrong. I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt here and say that's not the case. But they continue to invite an ex to major holidays for some unknown reason that I don't really understand personally. Anybody out there, if you're listening and you have an ex that still comes to your Thanksgivings, like fill us in because I don't understand. I don't get it right now.
I don't get it either. And if there's like some like sensible nuance to this, just let us know because like
I would be very curious.
I would just like to wrap my head around that a little bit. One part of this story that was included. I'm not going to go with this. I'm just going to throw this out there because I think dad's the asshole. Like you were once probably like in the shit in Vietnam and just a total badass motherfucker. And now you've just been totally defeated to the point where you eat your turkey and watch football and don't have control of this family dinner. So first off, I'm looking at you.
That's right, Dad.
But the other one, there's a tertiary asshole here, and that's the granddaughter. That she was like, "Oh, we had enough seats," but then a granddaughter showed up that wasn't expected and threw off the whole feng shui of what was going on.
Yeah,
so like,
show up to Thanksgiving on time,
or if you say you're not coming, don't come.
That's a definitely one possible aspect. Granddaughter's asshole. I accept it.
What do you think?
Where you at on this,
Mr. Doctor?
Well, I'm
Dr.
trying to
Kelly.
gather all my thoughts as they're still all floating around. I think that the new wife that wrote the story, I think she's probably the asshole.
Okay.
And I think it's probably for reasons that she did not divulge in that story. I think she's probably a gold digger. She made certain to mention that she's petite, which makes me think that she's a conceited bitch.
Okay.
She hasn't been around very long. What they say, they've been married 5 months. Yeah, I'm going with her.
Okay.
The fact that she had to question it enough to take the time to write this fucking Reddit, that right there tells me that she's the asshole.
Right. In a situation that I feel like if you're not heavily investigating it like we are, it's pretty clear that she's not an asshole, but I guess still had to question it. I mean, I guess not. Mom and sister-in-law and husband all were pissed at her.
But they're all assholes.
They're all assholes.
They're all assholes, but for our purposes here, I'm going with her.
Being the biggest asshole.
Yeah.
So mom was justified.
Probably.
For keeping Julissa around.
Probably.
And getting mad about this situation.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
So none of us agree on this one. That's fine. It's the way she goes sometimes.
Jury's out.
Jury's out. Hung.
All right. We ready for this one?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I promised my son, 16 male, he could have his friend visit from out of town. I share custody with my ex-wife, so he splits his time between our cities and stay for Thanksgiving until school break was over. However, I started to notice some suspicious behavior. Hi, handsome, as a greeting when they were FaceTiming, calling him bub. Even my son's laugh when talking to him is different. I decided to take a look at my son's phone. The very first thing I see in the messages is a selfie of the friend shirtless in bed. I knew for sure then. I told my son his friend couldn't come over for Thanksgiving and explained why. His brothers can't have his girlfriend over. He can't have his boyfriend over. Everyone is acting like I'm wrong for breaking the promise, though. Am I the asshole?
I think this is the same kid who, on the 4th of July, when we reviewed it a while back, was the one who wore the "I'm not gay, but my asshole is" to the party.
No, that was a daughter.
Oh, that was a daughter.
Is this the Reddit that gets us all canceled?
It might be. We'll find out, though.
I guess we will find out.
I think that Dad is kind of the asshole here.
You break a promise.
Well, not only that, but like your son, daughter, regardless of who they date, not being able to have their significant other to Thanksgiving seems a bit fucking absurd to me at the age of 16.
Yeah, but it's a partner coming in from out of town that's going to be staying at the house. That's a little different from like coming over for dinner and then being sent your separate way. If they were full-grown adults, it'd be a different story, but it is still a teenager, and you got to have some semblance of control in your household. Matt's go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is true. I definitely didn't have boyfriends or girlfriends sleeping over at my house when I was 16
Oh,
years
God.
old.
Me
No.
neither, no.
Oh, God, no. Boy.
I think that gender doesn't particularly matter of the significant other in this one.
So
No,
he
I don't
made
think so
mention that his brother was not allowed to have his girlfriend
Spend the night.
spend the night.
No, come to Thanksgiving.
Was it come to Thanksgiving? I thought it was spend the night.
His brother can't have his girlfriend over. He can't have his boyfriend over for Thanksgiving.
I mean, I think that's if that's where the dad's at, then I think that's a fair way to go.
I mean, I feel like having him over for Thanksgiving is like, I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Although
Is it
it
that real?
seems like maybe the dad didn't know that the son and the friend were more than friends,
Right.
And that changed his mind. Which, I mean, that brings up a whole slew of questions
Right.
at that point.
Who uses the word bub?
Hey, bub.
Hey, bub. Like, as like a... He was like...
I call my
thought
dog bub sometimes.
Yeah, you call your dog bub, but this guy's like, I thought they were just friends. Then I saw a message that said, "Hey, bub," and I was like, "Oh, they're fucking like."
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not hip on the current slang of teenagers. So
I'm not either.
Maybe that's the cool thing right now.
Maybe that's what they're using. I don't know.
Hey, Bubba.
Hey, Bubba. That's right.
Hey, Bubba.
That's right. I think it's a bit much to not have him over for Thanksgiving, but I think that staying the night definitely puts an understandable spin for the father, I guess. And I also feel like the son was probably being kind of dishonest. So if you're lying to me, like if you're upfront and like, yeah, I want to bring my boyfriend over to Thanksgiving dinner, like, okay, whatever. But when you're lying to me so he can spend the night and make it look like he's just your friend, I think that's a little bit of a different story as well, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree there with that statement.
I think the people from the last post and this post, if the fathers were transposed, the people bitching. Well, no, the father's the one in this one. But if the fathers were transposed between these two stories, pretty much everyone would be happy. Because
Yeah.
dad in the other one gave up. He'd be like, "Oh, the dude shirtless. What? I don't fucking care. Like,
Yeah,
have him
whatever.
over." And this dad would be
He's
like,
not getting pregnant.
right, exactly. And then this dad, if he was in the
Very
other
good point.
This dad, if he was in the other situation, he'd be like, "Oh fuck no, Jalissa ain't coming over for dinner."
No boyfriends or girlfriends are coming over.
In fact, your wife ain't coming either.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's just us.
Strictly family.
So, I don't know. I feel like I'd be asking my son maybe more questions about how he knows this person. If it's like someone from out of town, like that you've never met. I don't know. Did he say that he's never met the person?
I don't know if he said he'd ever met him. He definitely said that he lives out of town. I think they're like...
So they made the reference that the mom and dad live in different cities.
Right. So it's probably
Which
mom's
makes me
city.
thinks they got 2 whole sets of friends at their respective places.
Right.
You gotta learn how to play the game as a kid. Like his
Mom probably knows.
lets it. Oh,
She probably knows the whole thing.
Yeah.
she probably lets it.
And
fly.
probably is okay. Yeah. Sleep over, whatever. Do your thing. He's your boyfriend. That's fine. But it also makes me question whether or not the dad is the asshole because his son has to lie about his about
sexuality.
well, anything, you know what I mean? Maybe dad knows he's gay, but he doesn't know he has a boyfriend or has a significant other or whatever, and he tries to cover it up. So, like, why does the son have to be sneaky about this situation? Why can't he just say, I want my boyfriend to come to Thanksgiving dinner and then he can go back home or whatever, you know what I mean?
Well,
at least in that situation, there's the opportunity to, like, negotiate a little bit to me. Like, yeah, okay, he can't stay the night, but, like, yeah, sure. Your
I'm going to
boyfriend
think
come to
outside the
Thanksgiving.
box a little bit
Ooh.
here.
Okay, I'm ready for this one. I like this.
So that he made the mention already that that his brother couldn't have his girlfriend over. Mm-hmm. I'm going to assume that his brother is older and that his brother and his girlfriend or a past girlfriend already did something to cause that being the case. And so I'm going to kind of think that maybe they're the assholes.
The brother and sister, because they fucked up.
The brother and the brother's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because they clearly fucked this up sometime in the past.
Right.
Just ruined it for everybody.
I think maybe the dad doesn't like the brother's girlfriend, and by having 2 kids and being like, you're not allowed to have your girlfriend over, but he's not allowed to have, any boyfriend or whatever over either. It just makes it very easy to, like, make it a fair thing instead of being like, I just don't like the fucking chick you're dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is it would be a passive way to do things. It's not like the way to do it in the long run, but...
Right. And also, I think that 16-year-olds having sleepovers with their boyfriend, girlfriend is not, like... I'd say it's probably a little bit uncommon in a lot of households, but it's definitely not unheard of.
Not unheard of, but not common. It was not common among me or any of my friends growing up.
We lived, we're not like old, but we definitely grew up in different times, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like the early 2000s, late 90s, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. But even back then, I would say, like, most of my friends couldn't have their boyfriend or girlfriend
Yeah,
sleep
same
over.
here. Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
like, there were definitely ones that did, you know what I mean? It just depended on, what was cool at their household. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I guess this dad's drawing the line, and that's his line to draw, that no boyfriends or girlfriends are allowed to stay the night over Thanksgiving, and they're not allowed to come to Thanksgiving, which I think that might be a bit much, not having the boyfriend or girlfriend be able to even come to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, but it might also be out of the question for them to not come for the night if they are cities
another
apart
city.
from each other.
Well, one thing's for sure is that nobody's coming.
Nobody's coming on Thanksgiving.
Nobody's coming on Thanksgiving
Except
in more than
maybe
one
the
way.
dad.
Except maybe the dad. Maybe
Yeah.
the dad. He doesn't speak about his situation.
Nope.
I feel like he's in a single dad situation because there's no talk of him discussing. Oh no, he talks about his ex, but he doesn't talk about having like another partner. So he seems like
no
he's in a,
stepmom, no stepdad.
he's in a single dad situation. So like
Play in the field.
he's gotta be strong and like really lay it down because he's,
I think that also puts another perspective on it. If his girlfriend or boyfriend is allowed to come to Thanksgiving, but the kids' boyfriends or girlfriends are not allowed to come to Thanksgiving, I feel like that makes him a hypocrite. That makes him an asshole.
Well, maybe that's part of it too. I mean, yeah, I agree, but sometimes you got to be the hypocrite as a parent. I mean, none of us are parents, so I guess none of us can really talk about that. But it seems logical that sometimes you have to be a hypocrite.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are definitely times where do as I say, not as I do applies as a parent.
Amen.
But I'm not in that situation, and I'm gonna go with the dad is the asshole because his son isn't able to tell him that he wants to bring his boyfriend to Thanksgiving. or the son. I guess they're both assholes because he lies to his dad, you know what I mean? Tries to pull a fast one on the old man, you know what I mean? Thinking that he's not very smart or not up to the times or up to the task of discerning who a boyfriend is and who a friend is. Also, that's kind of crazy. You're allowed to bring your friend, but you're not allowed to bring your boyfriend or your girlfriend to Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Maybe they're one of those. Maybe he's one of those very religious type parents. I don't know.
I feel like then I definitely want to meet who my son or daughter or boyfriend, girlfriend is, so that way I can give them the stamp of approval. You know what I mean? I feel like Thanksgiving and family ordeals is a good way to kind of test the ground on boyfriends or girlfriends. You know what I mean? Does my family like you? Are you not a fucking asshole at Thanksgiving? Like, that's a good way. I get to see you all weekend, how you treat me, how you treat my son, how you treat our aunts, uncles, all that shit, and I get a good idea of whether or not this is somebody that I want my son or daughter to be involved with, you know?
I think the older...
And I polish my guns the whole time.
I think it goes back to being... I think it goes back to the older son. I'm going to place the blame on him. I think he had an argument with dad. I like the way you went with that. I think he had an argument with dad because something popped up with the girlfriend or whatever, and they had a little bit of a fight. And then the older son was just like, "That's why mom left you, dad." And then it was just like, okay, nobody gets to be happy in this household anymore.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I'm assuming that the older brother ruined it somehow, some way for the younger brother, because that's pretty much what older brothers do.
So we got older brother,
and I'm sticking with dad and son, both assholes.
So we've turned the table on this one. Us two agree, and you're on the outside.
It's okay. That was the way the first one goes. We got one last one. We have just enough time for the last one to see who's really the smartest in this room right here.
When we're gonna find out, and this is an especially interesting one.
All right, lay it on me.
Am I the asshole for bailing on Thanksgiving for the 10th year in a row for Bali?
Oh, I've read this one.
You read this one? Did you like this one?
I thought it was pretty good.
Let's rock.
Yeah.
I'm a flight attendant for a major airline, so working on holidays is a given. I've been working long enough I could get holidays and time off if I want, but I don't take them up on it. For the past decade, I've skipped major family holidays and events like weddings and christenings. Part of it has to do with something that happened a long time ago. Long story short, my ex knocked up my sister and they got married. I have no interest in them and haven't met their children. I haven't even gone back to my hometown since their engagement announcement. My mother has been asking me when I'm going to come back, and the answer is never. I tell her I don't know. Well, she and my dad are getting up there in years, and they want a family celebration with everyone, including my cheat of an ex and his family. She just asked when I'm going to be here for Thanksgiving, and I told her that work got in the way. She broke down, crying over the phone, and pleaded with me to put in a time off request so I can see her. My other FA, flight attendant family, thinks I should do this one thing because it's not healthy to put work over family. Honestly, I can't stand to see my ex happy with his affair partner and what could have been us. Also, I am spending part of the holidays in Bali and have better things to do than be miserable in fucking Cleveland, Ohio.
It's understandable. Okay. I like Cleveland personally, but I know that people don't have as much of a fondness for it as I do.
Some people call it the mistake on the lake, and then the people in Cleveland call this the mistake by the lake.
I also call this the mistake by the lake.
So it's an interesting, but yeah, Cleveland, interesting. Anyways.
First off, I understand what I feel like. I would absolutely want nothing to fucking do with my sister, who is now having a family with my ex.
Yeah, that's a fucked up situation. And, you know, I kind of see a couple sides to that. Like, I sympathize with this chick not wanting to have anything to do with that. I think that's completely fair, and I think that's completely her right. It also seems like it maybe happened 10 years ago, so like get the fuck over it.
Yeah, at some point you gotta win the breakup.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm really drawn to is like, okay, your sister took your ex from you, but you won't even step a foot in your own hometown. You're letting them win.
Yeah,
you're letting them win. Here's another quick solution. You're a fucking flight attendant. So you've been doing it long enough that you can probably ask for this one favor where you fly in early on Thanksgiving, have this fucking dinner, make your mom happy, and go get on an outbound plane to somewhere fucking else.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
she said that. She said she could absolutely do it with the amount of time she's been a flight attendant. She just chooses lies, and says, oh, work got in the
Yeah,
way.
she can't. I feel like the reason that you don't do that also has something to do with fucking mom. Like, mom fucked up somewhere in this situation, and that's also why you don't want to see the family. Because it's easy to stop by and, like, say hi to mom before brother and sister or whoever, or sister and brother-in-law / former lover get there, you know what I mean? Just pop by. So I feel like mom probably was, like, super pumped about this exchange of boyfriends / husbands, and was like, fuck yeah, we still love you, Ben, even though you're dating Sarah now instead of Melissa. That's great. You're our son-in-law now, and you're the father of our grandchildren, and we love you, and this is awesome. And Sarah or Melissa or whoever the fuck I said is kind of just left out to dry, and feels real shitty about it, and is mad at mom for accepting this, and mad at her sister. And for a sister to do something like this, also I feel like there has to be some sort of fucked up prior relationship to that going down, you know what I mean? I feel like that doesn't come out of the blue. If you're like a normal human being in a family situation with brothers and sisters, you typically don't fall in love with or date or cheat on or have a relationship with your ex's or with your sister's lover, boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah,
because it also says that he's a cheat. So that leads me to believe that this affair was occurring while they were still together. Like,
I
most
think it was,
definitely.
yeah.
banging both sisters for a little bit there.
Ben reminds me a lot of the Notorious B.I.G. He talks quite frequently in his raps when he was alive about how he was dating someone and banging her sister and got her pregnant. So I feel like I have a little more experience or a little more knowledge, scholarly knowledge on this subject from all my years of listening to Biggie.
Nice,
to
yeah.
understand his viewpoint, why Ben was banging the sister. But on your side, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that to your sibling, no matter how smooth Notorious Ben is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I
Yeah.
wasn't always a person that loved family gatherings for holidays, and so that being said, I may or may not have on multiple occasions made sure that I had to work on Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, I definitely
so
did
that
that.
I could use that as an excuse to not be there. I haven't done that in a really long time, but not saying that she's not the asshole, but I am saying that I understand
Trying to avoid your family.
trying to avoid that kind of a situation.
I think there's a very...
Plus, she's going to fucking Bali, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
She's
hell
going to
yeah,
Bali.
dude.
Well,
Shit.
yeah, that's the other point of it. That's what I was going to bring up. You're like, hey, where would you rather be this weekend, Paradise or Cleveland, Ohio?
Right, yeah. Obvious choice.
Obvious choice. There's some really big issues with mom and dad, or mom at least, and respecting boundaries. Like, okay, they're both your daughters, so like you gotta, you do your best to like love them both. Whatever, the other daughter, hooked up with so and so, they're together. That's obviously an awful thing, but it certainly seems like she won't come back to the hometown because she's embarrassed. She doesn't want to run into anybody. But it also seems like she couldn't just like take a cab straight to the parents' house, stay there for a few days, and leave because they want these people to interact.
Yeah, they
Like-
definitely want the sisters to get back together and be sisters again.
The other question too is what did she do to Ben to make Ben cheat on her with her sister?
That's right. Yeah, I mean, she is a flight attendant. She's traveling around the world, probably not giving Ben the attention that he needs. He's left to himself a lot and spending time with the family.
Don't victimize Ben. Ben fucked up. Like,
Ben definitely. Well,
her
I thought,
sister?
Mister, I understand because I listened to the BIG, and now you're saying that Ben is not the victim, because that sounds like what happened to our boy, the Notorious one.
well, he didn't get killed in a drive-by because of banging two sisters. I guess from what I've collected from my knowledge,
Your scholarly works.
my scholarly works, I think it was more East Coast, West Coast related, but it could have been maybe it could have been sister related, but he could have banged someone else besides her fucking sister,
He
Right.
could have.
and then he got her pregnant.
I don't know what either of these sisters looks like, so I can't make any
Yeah, it might be
judgment
like a
based
high
on
five
that.
moment.
Yeah, like I may want to give Ben a attaboy.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of
I feel like when you do stuff like that and it's an attaboy, though, it doesn't turn into a marriage. You know what I mean?
unless you get the girl pregnant.
Fuck Sarah. She is awful. I'm going to go bang her sister. And you do it, but you don't like keep doing it and marry her. You know what I mean? That's really like a long-term spiteful thing
Well,
versus like a short-term, bitch.
We also don't know if the sister that he's married to now was like coming on to him.
Yeah, she
It's
might
possible.
have seduced him.
We really
Ben's only a man.
Ben's
we really
on,
don't
man.
know what the whole story there is. But
They might have had one of those unfortunate incidents where they just did it once and they were like, oh my God, this is terrible. But then it's, oh my God, Ben, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, now you got to marry her.
Now we got to just keep rocking and rolling with this.
Yeah.
maybe at a previous Thanksgiving, Ben got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and the house was really big, and he accidentally went into the wrong room when he got done. And
Yeah. I feel like I've seen something like that produced on websites.
Websites, yeah, that seems like a very website-driven thought process.
I never saw that. I just came up with that.
Well, maybe you're onto something new.
Maybe you should be a director.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be.
Dr. Director over here. I don't know. You got the chance with your job for free to just fly all over the world. And I don't know, being at an airline for 10 years, I don't know if you get I'm sure you get preference which flights that you're going to be, attending on or whatever. But
To a degree, I'm sure, yeah.
To a degree, I'm sure,
would
but
think.
like, I mean, the fact that she's going to Bali, probably, that's a desirable place, I'd imagine. But you're a flight attendant. You have the ability to go anywhere in the world or
Anytime you want.
anytime you want, and you have the option to go somewhere else for free, getting paid, or go back to your hometown for what is guaranteed to be an incredibly uncomfortable situation where you get to look at kids that look like similar to you because they're
Ooh,
with your
that's
sister.
a psychological mindfuck right there.
With the guy that she obviously
Still loves.
still loves. Like, what? This seems like a slam dunk no brainer to me. Like,
Yeah, you don't go to that.
you don't go to it.
No. There's no scenario where I go to that.
No.
You don't feel bad about it either.
No.
Even after however many years pass, I probably do not talk
The
to
other
my
thing,
fucking sister
too,
anymore.
And she wasn't really clear about this, but it seems like the mom really wants to see her.
And they're getting old and blah,
Maybe
blah,
they
blah.
haven't seen each other in a while, but that again, that works two ways. The mom, and if there's a dad, I don't know if
There
was
was.
he mentioned. They could always go visit their fucking daughter, and probably being that she works for the airline, she could probably hook that up
Probably.
Right. It also seems like she's mad at mom and dad too, though.
for sure.
Oh, definitely mad at mom and dad. But that's a trickier situation. You see people that go on, trial for murdering like 30 people and their parents are still there, like, so like they
Yeah.
gotta show support for like both kids, through their actions that they've committed.
It's true.
It's hard to really know. Like this chick that wrote it, she might be absolutely terrible,
Yeah. She could suck.
and she might be fine, and everybody else might be terrible, or just like they could all be terrible.
That's definitely a possibility, but I'm going with she's not the asshole here. And I'm going to go with I'm going to say this is just Ben's fault, dude. Ben, you're a fucking scumbag. You shouldn't have banged your but I guess I don't know. Maybe she is. Maybe that's why Ben did this whole thing. He's playing the long game, dude. He's trying to this girl that's going to Bali has been waging psychological warfare on him and doing all this crazy stuff. and maybe she's been cheating on him on all these like flights that she's gone. She's staying in hotels all over the place. Like probably pretty easy to have like affairs or multiple families or whatever in all of these different places that she's traveling to regularly. So maybe she does suck, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt in this situation. And I'm going to place the sole responsibility squarely on Ben and say, Ben, you're a douchebag. Even if she was fucked and like shitty to you or whatever and cheating on you and doing all this stuff, you probably still don't bang her sister.
I'm gonna go ahead and go large scale here. I'm gonna blame this for multiple reasons on the city of Cleveland, Ohio.
There we go.
There's, similar climate to here. Seasonal depression's a very real thing. Ben or the sister or both probably weren't supplementing the vitamin D in their diet. So they did it
wrong vitamin D.
Ben was doing his
D.
best to get them supplemented
Right,
in vitamin D.
Exactly. So you're living in this Rust Belt city, which, is definitely, doing all right now, but, they got kids, so it was a few years back. So you're in this Rust Belt city. Things look bleak. It's winter time. You're depressed. Your girlfriend's on a flight taking pictures and fucking, the Bahamas, like, woo, and you're just like real sad. And it's Cleveland. It's Cleveland's fault, really, because if you were in a nicer place where you got more sun and things felt more positive, you wouldn't have needed to seek solace in her sister. So it's Cleveland's fault. Cleveland's the asshole.
All right. Well, we're going to be hung on this one because
Okay.
I'm not agreeing with either one of you.
Wow.
And
Rude.
Yeah,
You're-
fuck,
you're
dude. I
not
thought I
gonna-
laid it out pretty
you're not
obscurely.
going to
too.
see this one coming either.
Okay.
And I'm pretty proud of this conclusion that I came to, because the real assholes of this situation are the kids.
The ones that were born through the union of Ben and the
Yeah.
sister. Okay.
Yeah. If those kids were never born, then there's probably a pretty good chance, it stands to reason, that Ben's little affair with the sister would have just maybe been a fleeting thing, and then maybe the sisters could have, worked out their
Reconciled.
bullshit, reconciled their differences. Ben's off somewhere else, ruining some other family's life, and this is a nice, happy, child-free family.
Right.
So I blame the kids.
That's a fair blame there for sure. We've frequently determined that the kids are often the asshole.
They
on this
generally
episode.
are.
And I think this is the first time ever, up until this point, that they have not been highlighted as being the assholes in any of these situations.
Yeah, the kids have been pretty much blame free until
Yeah, they're not blame-free.
this conclusion. Yeah, they should have never been born.
Simple as that.
They should tell them that.
And placing the responsibility on the parents is just far too much, especially when we don't know the situation. Maybe
We don't know the situation.
Maybe she deserved this kind of treatment for being an asshole to Ben. Maybe the sisters hate each other already. Maybe Ben, I don't know. So I think that the kids definitely fucked this up. I think you've swayed me, dude, actually.
Interesting.
All right.
And I'm gonna readjust here and say that the kids are the asshole, and they should, because they're always the asshole, and they're the ones who really fucked up this whole thing. Because now the sister has to go, whenever she thinks of her family or sees her family, she's got these little reminders running around. They're probably sweet and adorable and nice, maybe, doing cute, dumb kid shit or whatever, and now she's like, oh, fuck, this is so fucked.
I think that in the spirit of friendship and community that this holiday brings, I think that you've both swayed me. I think we can maybe agree
Dr.
on
Kelly.
this one.
All
Dr.
right.
Kelly, the kids are just fucking jerks. Why are you looking so much like Ben and my sister out there? I can't do this. You look in a mirror, I'm basically looking at myself. But yeah, you kids are jerks. You fucked everything
They
up.
fucked everything up.
That's what
as
they
always
fucking do.
They always do.
So we get to end on
On a classic am I
unionized
the
note.
asshole trope of blaming the children.
It's unanimous.
Took an hour-ish to get us to this point, but we finally agreed on something.
That's right. Just like every
I
other
think
family
that the three of
decision.
us would serve on a jury well together.
We would find out who
Objection.
the killer is. I don't think the jury's allowed to object.
Sustained. I'm still learning.
It's a fine job.
Keep studying.
Keep studying, and we'll be back next time for the next holiday episode of Am I the Asshole? This one was fun. Don't fuck up your family's Thanksgiving. I think that's really what I take away from this whole thing is don't be a fucking dick on Thanksgiving, and things will be okay.
Go there, eat some free food, be a nice person. and
It's probably
fucking
really
leave.
good. Yeah, don't fight anybody. Don't yell or cause commotion. Don't be a piece of shit. And everything will be fine on Thanksgiving.
But just remember out there, if you did a great job and had a wonderful and bountiful Thanksgiving and everything went well, you'll find out in about a month that you can still fuck it up on Christmas.
That's right. You got a second opportunity right around the corner to ruin things.
And that's arguably a bigger holiday to ruin.
Oh, yeah.
But we will talk about that in a month.
That's right. The Christmas ones are usually pretty exciting.
Fantastic.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Thanks to all our sponsors, everybody who likes, shares, comments. We love you. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out, y'all.